Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wild Moments. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We've got some very cool clips to look at, but please remember this is live and interactive. So send us your questions, thoughts, comments, and what you're drinking. Welcome this afternoon to the wonderful Ali. Hi, Ali.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be here. I never see everyone, but it's very, very happy times for me to be on Wild Moments today.
And I'm loving those caps behind you there, Ali. Much more exciting than what I've got behind me at the moment. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's have a look to see who we've got here already. We have got Amber Co. Happy Thursdays to all. Thanks to the Explorer and everyone that waits to bring us these great clips. Coffee and Blueberry Muffin here. Andy, good afternoon to all. Hi, Zygote. Nice to see you. Namaste. Dia NC, good morning from Seattle. Got my coffee and excited for the show. And Bridget, hi, Ali and Kelly. Hi, Bridget. Please do tell us where you are and what you are up to today. So are you well, Ali?
I am. It's been a strange winter, this one in Hoedspruit. It's been really hot, and then we've had some freezing mornings. So I don't really know what's going on. But today, hello, lemon and ginger tea. There have been a lot of
I've got nothing.
Going around. Oh, shame. Do you want to share my tea?
I would love to. Hopefully soon, maybe when I'm back, then maybe we can. We'll have to have a nice shared cup of tea. April, Al, good morning from sunny Connecticut with my cherry iced tea by my side, rolling trouble WA 2019. Hi all, coffee and water here in Washington. Thank you all so much for joining. Alrighty, let's have a look and see what fabulous clips we have in store for us today. Roll the first clip. Ooh.
I like how, it's just like exciting stuff. And there's an Egyptian goose. Well done, Kirsty.
Goosey. See, I forget how pretty they are, though. Look at those beautiful markings.
No, they are very pretty.
And
look at your little legs.
Made for it, hey?
It's also like, if you think about it, great camouflage, because okay, so the reason for those of you that don't know, the Egyptian goose is fairly common, perhaps even the most common species of waterfowl that we get around South Africa, and they're just pretty much everywhere. And they're famous for making a racket and for bullying pretty much everything out of the water sources. So, we get to overrate them, and we just forget that they are pretty and special. But the fact that this one has 3 eggs, I think it is, only 3 little eggs, is exciting times, because seeing anything born is very cool. And I know everyone's been watching, because hopefully they'll be hatching sometime soon, I believe, if the insider info has been correct.
And it's just, she has just got 3, well, there's just 3 eggs under there. I've seen families of Egyptian geese. I think I've seen like an 11 or something.
Yeah, like big clutches of eggs. So
huge
I
clutches.
Don't know if maybe some of them were eaten before, because it also happens. Some of them get lost, some of them get squashed. Or,
and this is at Stony Point. I'm not sure. What sort of predators might there be at Stony Point there, Ali? Do you know of who might have been eating those eggs?
I mean, gulls, terns, big, marine birds. Oh, Kirsten says genets. Fair enough. Also genets. Otters, pretty much anything, actually, really. Anything will eat an egg. Anything will eat something that is defenseless and, just an available meal. But
hopefully we will see all those 3 of them. Oh, apparently only laid 3 in the first place. She only laid them on Tuesday. Oh, it's going to be a while then. It's going to be waiting with bated breath.
Oh no, this is so stressful, because now you're going to be watching this the whole time, because she's only got 3. So it's another at least 2 months of wait. Well, yeah, sort of 2 months of waiting just to see if they're all going to hatch, if they're all going to make it.
It's certainly something to fill your life with, the Stony Point goose family. I see Karu, hi Kelly and Ali, have milk and 3 Hershey Kisses. That sounds delightful.
Nice.
Who else have we got today? Mr. H, UAE 87. He's got a coffee and a cake. And Karu, how cute. Hadn't seen them nesting there yet, but that's almost like that family have gone, right, where's the camera? Let's go right here. They've set it up beautifully. So yeah, it's going to be exciting times waiting to see how many of those hatch, and also possibly a little bit frustrating, because if all 3 of those do hatch, and then when they eventually wander off, they're just going to and no one's really going to know where they've ended up unless they come back and visit. So it's going to be 2 months of waiting and bonding, and then they're going to completely fly the nest, for want of a better phrase.
Yes, but like that's later. We still got time.
Still got time. I see JJ, can the Egyptian geese swim in the sea? I've never seen an Egyptian goose swimming in the sea, but I can't imagine why they wouldn't. Have you seen an Egyptian goose swimming in the sea?
But if they can swim in normal fresh water, they can certainly swim in the sea. The principle is the same.
Yeah, I haven't actually spent much time by the coasts of southern Africa, to be honest. So I don't know too much about the marine side of things from around our coastlines. But yeah, JJ, I can't imagine wouldn't be able to swim in the sea like they would in a lake, really. I see Karu. How many eggs do Egyptian geese typically lay? What's the most you've seen, Ali?
More than 3. A lot more than 3. I think, around Chitwa, which is a big dam, where it's a large Chitwa technically, but they have a massive dam in front of them. And I remember clutches there of like 9, 11 on average. So lots of little chicks around, and they are really cute when they're little. Very cute. And they all follow their parents, and it's just like all move around, and then just like tiny fluff balls. And they do grow up to be very noisy creatures, so that's not ideal. Oh my goodness, sorry, that is.
No, they are super cute. Yeah, I think I've seen sort of 10, 11, and 3 is quite low, so probably maybe somewhere in the middle. But nature is nature. We never know, Karu. But no, that's going to be super cute watching those little guys grow. Okay, I think, shall we move on to the next clip? And I think we might have quite an interesting interaction going on here, Ali. Let's have a look and see what we've got. I love nighttime views of things. It always makes me feel like I'm spying.
Like we're not meant to be seeing any of these things, are we?
Yeah, the secret squirrel stuff. All right, okay, so apparently we see this hippo on a regular basis, and viewers have named him Hank the hippo.
I would love to be a hippo. That would be my dream animal.
I would probably support this.
Shame. It's got a bit of a limp going on.
And he's got company.
I can't wait to see what these hyenas do, because hyenas are such cheeky animals. Like, they can be fierce hunters, make no mistake. But sometimes I feel like they just do things because they can, just to have fun, just to stir the pot a little bit.
They've got so much character, haven't they? So much character.
Yeah. To be very honest, like if it were a big fan of hyenas and a hippo with an injured back, like there could be a chance that the hyenas would actually try to hunt it, but whatever it is that's going on here does not seem. I mean, the hippo is clearly irritated. That's why he's opening his mouth. But the hyena's actually being more curious than anything. Maybe it's never sniffed a hippo's bum before.
I concur. I am in the same position. He does look very sore, though. Hey, old Hank. He looks very, very sore, and I wonder if. Oh wow! Ouch. See, I wonder if, does anyone know what's happened to Hank the hippo?
Okay, well, Hank is at least clever.
Oh, he's very sore.
Okay, I take it back. I think maybe the hyenas were initially curious, because I can't see from here. I don't know if you can see, but maybe there's a bit of blood that's going on, and maybe that's also why the hyenas were sniffing. So as soon as they figured out that, because they went to the back and then obviously started sniffing the one leg that's injured. So I wonder if they actually, the hyenas are like, oh, we can smell something nice, and then they can tell that the hippo is injured. And who knows, maybe they would even try if the hippo is injured, if Hank is like, because it doesn't seem to be in the greatest condition. He looks maybe a tad skinny.
No, yeah, he does look like he's got lots of scrapes and bumps, and whether or not, if this is recent, I mean, I haven't been in the area for a while, but I've been seeing lots of messages that animals are hungry. It's very, very dry. So maybe, I mean, he's got a lovely little pan here, but maybe there was an altercation with another male hippo. That's often hippos I know are badly wounded and even killed by other large male hippos. So maybe it happened, maybe he's gone to try his luck somewhere else and got in a fight. I hate it when it comes back and I'm looking like that for the camera. Maybe he's got in a fight somewhere. But yeah, shame. It's a very interesting interaction. I think it would take quite a lot of hyenas to get the better of a hippo. I think I saw a clip years ago it was something like 8 lions, and it was a hippo crossing a tar road somewhere. I didn't see it myself. I saw a clip of it, and there was one on a leg and 2 on a back and 1 on a mouth, and this thing still just steamed across the road like there was nothing. So I think it would need to be a big group of hyenas to get the better of a hippo. But I see Catherine, didn't hyena take down a hippo in the Sabi Sands recently? I haven't been there, Catherine. I'm not sure if Ali's heard anything about that, or even Kirsty.
I haven't. But it wouldn't surprise me.
No, definitely not impossible. Definitely not impossible. It would be, I think the phrase epic battle would be appropriate to use in that scenario. It would be a pretty epic battle. But no, definitely not impossible, Catherine. I haven't heard anything, but if you could give me a bit more information, I'd be very interested to hear more about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
JJ.
I mean, it's as Kelly was saying, sorry to interrupt you, it's like it is that time of the year where, this has been a very there's been a fair amount of rain, but not enough to sustain maybe the diets and like all of the food requirements from all the other creatures. So if it was fighting, there isn't as much food, then it's going to take a longer time to recover, because this can just be extrapolated to any other hippo in the Sabi Sand, especially a male hippo that's fighting another hippo. Water sources are shrinking. They all become a little bit more edgy. They don't want to share. So it's definitely very, very likely and very possible that it happened, but I haven't heard of it. So if you can send us a clip.
Not impossible though. Yeah, that would be really useful, Catherine. JJ, how would a hyena bring down a hippo? Go for the legs?
I think they would just go for anywhere. I don't know.
They would just go for anywhere. Hyenas are biters and rippers. They're not stranglers. They're not chokers. They've got no chance of crushing any skulls in a hippo scenario. I think they just bite, I assume. And they've got, we know hyenas often hunt by stamina. And while hippos are, they're very fast. They're faster than people expect. A hyena would take down, or hyenas would take down a hippo, I think. They would definitely use some stamina. If the hippo can't get back to water, I think a big clan of hyenas would probably just chase it till it's exhausted, taking chunks out of it. It's gruesome, but what do you think, Ali?
I think it would be something like that. The way that I would imagine it is that the hippo perhaps cannot get to safety the water, like as we saw Hank doing, like he just ran straight into the water, and then the hyenas they do like the water, but they're not going to risk trying to attack it in like deeper water and so on. So they just, kind of, okay. But I suspect they would do something like that. Maybe, especially if the hippo is injured, or if it's, old age, it's not going to be able to defend itself as much. So a big clan of hyenas would likely go for the long game. Because when I've seen them hunt buffalo, I've seen them, and big buffalo, but this was in the Masai Mara, they used to circle big clans, and then they would be at it for sometimes even days at a time, until they found the right individual that they, and then I think it's also like psychological warfare to an extent, because like animals are stressed, they know something's happening, they know the predator is there. So it's not only, do I run, do I maintain myself, do I fight for my life, but also it's just like I'm tired, like the cortisol levels are going up. So there's a whole, bowl of factors that influence how things are going to go. And as you say, we tend to think that hyenas are stupid, which they're not. They're incredibly smart animals, and they're phenomenal hunters. So they know what they're doing. They just pretend they don't.
No, for sure. Bridget McKinney, he's an old hippo, shame. Yeah, tell me about it. It gets to all of us. And Sarah, what's the most common way hippos die? Old age? See, old age is a bit ambiguous. Do they get old so they can't fight, so they get injured by other hippos? Do they get old so they don't have stamina, so they get hunted by things? I know lots of hippos they've starved, depending on the conditions, in drought conditions. I don't think there's a most common way for many things to die. You say old age, but is that old age because of liver failure, or, I think that's a bit ambiguous. So I couldn't answer that. Ali, any idea?
No, I think your answer is pretty good, but I would think when we see generally I would say for hippos, like diseases or something like that, unless we have strange climatic conditions like we've seen in the last couple of years where it's really dry, then conditions tend to drop. And as you say, like some of them will be older, so it'll affect them quicker than maybe others, and then they fall to predation, diseases, malnutrition, starvation. So I think it's a host of factors. Because the biggest die-offs we've had here in the last couple of years, and I think, the one that comes back to mind was that summer between 2015 and 2016, where it was incredibly dry and there was no food for the animals. So in South Africa, I'm talking about, because we have a lot of artificial water holes. So there was enough water for the vast majority of animals to drink, but there wasn't enough food. And I think they say the official number was between 20 and 30% of the Kruger population of hippos and buffalo died.
I remember that. Yeah, I do. I remember that as well. Bowl of kittens. What? Bowl of kittens. Good name. There was a sighting of a fallen hippo being eaten by hyenas, and lion killed 2 of the hyenas. I did hear something about that. I'm not sure if it was the hyenas that had killed the hippo. I don't know if the hippo had died, but yeah, I do remember hearing something about like that. Which JJ, which would worse, a hippo bite or a hyena bite? If it was biting. If it was biting me, given a choice, I'd probably pick a hyena bite over a hippo bite, because if a hippo gets its mouth around you, you're just chomped in half, whereas a hyena would just take your leg off.
Fair enough. If you want to put it that way. But if you want to think about it, like, and it's an interesting thought. If you think about the force in terms of the bite between a hippo and a hyena, as far as I know, has a stronger bite than a hippo. So hippo has very sharp tusks, and sure, like it's a big animal, can cut us in half, but a hyena can crunch your bones, no problem. Just because
I don't know.
Skull and how the muscles
I'd rather avoid. If I can, I'll avoid both. Come on, Ali. If you had to be bitten by a hyena or a hippo, what would you choose?
I feel like maybe a hippo, because then I can dive straight into its mouth in between the tusks and maybe just go save myself.
Okay, I don't know. It'll give us something to think about this evening. Yeah, bowl of kittens in the Sabi Sands. I also heard something about that. Bowl of kittens. I would go for a hippo, done and dusted. Oh God, this is all getting a bit depressing. Let's move on. So let's have a. How would we rather die?
Oh, the dark
okay, let's move on to the next clip. I think we've got an interesting clip with some wild dogs and some pups. I think at Milady Dam.
Oh, they're such precious creatures.
See, I think this is the pack at Milady Dam there in Balule. The story is the alpha female, or the mum, was killed by lions. And the pups have been raised by the males. They had 9 pups to start with, and they've also had to relocate once due to lions again. So that is an incredibly unusual situation.
Oh my goodness, look at them. They're so cute.
Oh, they are so cute, aren't they?
And they actually look well fed. Did you see? I can't tell too much in the youngsters, but the adults look like they had fat, round bellies, which means that the guys have been eating well.
It's amazing how adaptable nature is and how adaptable it can be. I mean, what a start these pups. Look at those fat little tummies on those puppies as well.
Oh, they're so cute. And you know what? I think the biggest and the thing that always amazes me about wild dogs is that if this had happened with so many other species out in the wild, if the female had been killed at, obviously like they had to be at an age where they were already eating meat, otherwise like if they were just in milk, this wouldn't have worked. But like if it had been any other species, the pups would have been, or the little ones would have been doomed because there's no cooperative breeding, or and I'm talking now African mammals. Whereas in the case of wild dogs, it's pretty spectacular that they will raise and help their young, like, and they're injured and they're, the ones that have diseases and so on. They'll come, they'll regurgitate the food, and they really do have like an amazing pack mentality because it's just males raising pups. What other animal do you see that with in Africa in terms of mammals?
I mean,
and
but it just goes to show that the instinct is, people talk about maternal instinct and all the rest of it, not necessarily paternal. Was it there and it came out, or did they just work it out as they went along? Who knows? But the adaptability to keep the genes going, keep the survival of those pups going. What are they looking at?
I think I love their little fat bellies. Like, I don't know why, that just goes at my heart. Look at them. They're so round.
They're doing great though, hey? Even for dad raised pups, they're looking amazing. But those fat little tummies, and maybe they were just curious about what that water point was or something. But wild dogs have always been one of my favourite mammals. Lots of people's favourites are leopards. I've always really, really enjoyed wild dogs. I was a little bit put off them sometimes because of, this sounds terrible, but how busy wild dog sightings could be sometimes. And I really enjoy because they are so unusual, they're so unique, everyone's desperate to see them. So it did put me off a little bit because part of my favourite part about watching wildlife is just down and the space and the time. And I love canine behaviour for a start, but watching those dogs interact, as you said, they're one of the only, African mammals or predators that do this cooperative breeding. There's a few, but the way they look after their sick and injured, and I just really enjoy watching the pack dynamics. I've always found it fascinating, but I like to take my time. We've been very fortunate, Ali, in what we've been enabled to do in our careers, I think, and we've been very spoiled.
Oh, 100%. We're definitely been spoiled. We chose the high life. Cara, they're very cute. Bridget McKinney, I love puppies. I love puppies too. And JJ, should the pups be out at night? That's a very good point, JJ. I'm not sure what time this clip was shot. Kirsten, have you got any ideas what time that film was? I didn't see a timestamp on there. But I do know our cameras sometimes swap over into dark mode when it's not completely dark. But that is an interesting point. Oh, okay. We've just confirmed early evening. We're just going to have a little look. But JJ, that's a really good point. I didn't even think of that, Ali, did you? Not really. I just figured, because what also happens, and like this is always for me, we tend to think that animals are strictly diurnal and nocturnal. So like once the sun sets, a lot of animals go to sleep, and it's just like they don't work like us. They don't work like humans. They might sleep for a little while as the sun sets, and they'll wake up and they have like a bit of activity, and then they'll do it again. So I suppose that's maybe why, but it is a good question because they're young, so they should be at a den site somewhere, or at least hidden somewhere. But if it's, as you said, if it was early evening and if it's still light that our eyes can see, but like not that late in the evening, then the camera would go to
7 p.m.
anyway. See better.
Yeah.
So not too late.
7 p.m. No, I think it.
No, I think sunset is almost at 6. Sorry, I'm just looking at my watch because it tells me what time the sunset is. So
fancy watch. But yeah, so that swapped to IR. But no, I do. I've always really enjoyed wild dogs, and what a joy to be able to pick them up on these cameras when they're so little. And what a cool story to be able to follow as well, being raised by the dads. There are comments I could make in being raised by the dads, but I'm not going to.
Quite the modern like wild dogs, aren't they?
No, I was trying to think of any sort of mildly flippant but not directly sexist comments I could make, but I can't think of any, so I'm not going to bother. We do have a little bit of time left, so I think I think let's have a look maybe at this last clip. One of everyone's favourites. Let's have a look and see what our last clip's going to be. Oh, everyone loves the badger.
And the one in front looks a bit mangy, doesn't it? I wonder if it's just the angle.
Maybe it's just that you can just see the heat of the body infrareding through the fur. I love watching honey badgers, but we don't see them enough. They're so... How many good honey badger sightings have you had, Ali? Like proper sightings, not just...
Listen, not many, maybe like 2 or 3 that have been like, this is an epic honey badger sighting. One of them was with a pair, but like a mother and a youngster, which I'm wondering if this is the case. But, you know, generally but now that this one's back, then I'm starting to think maybe it's not a mother and a youngster, but they want to make youngsters. You know what I mean? Because
baby badgers.
You don't always have honey badgers. Okay, alrighty. Guys, what's going on? Well, I mean, I know what's going on, but I feel like, yes, so maybe this is potentially a breeding pair. There's a lot of interest there. I just love the way they walk. They're the best.
I do. I never get bored of watching honey badgers move, but I agree. There was that does look like a little bit of jiggy interest going on there. But I'm not counting honey badgers I've seen around camps, because we could count those, but I don't. But out far in the bush. Also, I've probably maybe 3 or 4. And my best honey badger sighting ever was also a mother and a baby. Classed as a really good sighting. I don't think I've ever managed to photograph a honey badger well, and it's nearly always just badger. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. There it is. There he ran across the road.
Yeah, quick, where's it gone? And then you drive, and then you see it bouncing off, and then it's finished. But maybe that's why we all like them so much, because we don't get to spend much time with them, and they're still so special. Catherine, do honey badgers mate for life? Ali? What?
No, they do not.
Do they not?
They have very loose. What do you call it? Associations. let's use a fancy word like that used for other creatures. So generally, you'll see like a mom with an offspring, or you'll see them together when they're trying to mate. But other than that, they don't form pairs that mate and stay together for life. They don't do that. They have multiple partners, and then they just look for a partner every different season, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, no, but I was trying to place, because you can normally get a good idea of what you think they might be up to. But no, that would make sense. And I see JJ, how long do babies stay with mum? Could it be an older pup? What do you think, Ali?
I think the individual in the front looked a little bit older, and if you looked at them, they're both pretty much the same size. So the youngsters would probably stay with the mother for about a year before they start going off and doing their own thing. So, and because of the way it seemed at one stage that it wanted to mount the one that was behind. So there was a lot of interest. There was a lot of sniffing in the rear end, which is generally a good indication that either there's an individual that is coming onto heat or is just exiting the heat period, and maybe that's why they went their separate ways, because there was something and not anymore. But no, you don't generally see adult honey badgers together.
No, it's unusual, and like I said, the same as you, Ali. My best ever honey badger sighting was a mum and a baby, and it was very special. We stayed with them for a good 20-25 minutes watching them forage. It was very, very cool. Zygote double honey badger. What's not to love about a double honey badger? But I'm so glad we managed to get a chance to have a look at those honey badgers at the end. Everyone, who doesn't love a badger? Anything to add, Ali? I think we're nearly out of time.
No, well, I'm very happy to have been here today. I love these clips again. So thank you for having me on the show again, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Well, I am seeing you guys soon. I'm seeing you guys on Tuesday, actually.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us, Ali, and thank you so much for joining us, everyone else. Have a great rest of your day. Finish off your drinks, and hopefully we will see you all again soon. Bye.